say this about Soulja Boy. Y'all gotta give him a little bit of latitude because he a victim. And he been ran through quite a bit. They was playing tapes, and then the owner of the house pulled out Soulja Boy tape. That's why he's always able to call other on being a swish. Birds of a feather flock together.
Get in your position. What? I got on MySpace and YouTube and grinded as a teenager in the hood, and I made it. And you mad because you had to get in your ass. You had to suck.
Soulja Boy, he been canceled. Nobody cares Soulja Boy. So Soulja Boy better go to get that check. Yeah, I don't think he had a hit since.
Wow. You thought Soulja Boy was just cracking harmless jokes with Wayans? Think again. This is no playful exchange or comedy skit. Soulja's been sitting on a closet full of skeletons, and that door is creaking wide open. What started as a throwaway line during one radio moment has now snowballed into a full-blown expose, dragging every scandal he's kept tucked away for years. And believe me, these stories are darker and messier than anybody ever pictured. Forget the polished narratives and feel-good interviews you've heard in the past.
What were your thoughts when 50 Cent blamed the second season ratings dip on gay stuff?
First of all, the pot calling the kettle black, so I'm
Soulja Boy, he been canceled. Nobody cares Soulja Boy. So Soulja Boy better go to get that check. Yeah, I don't think he had a hit since.
Wow. The real storm begins when you rewind the clock to that strange Trump inauguration weekend. That's where the plot takes its sharpest turn. And once the receipts started leaking out, folks quickly realized this wasn't just another Soulja headline. It was the start of something that could flip his whole image upside down. Out of nowhere, Soulja pops up at this sketchy crypto event. The kind of scene filled with red flags instead of real fans, grinning like he just struck gold. The vibes were already off, but then Marlon Wayans slid in a slick jab during a radio interview, brushing Soulja off like he was a non-factor. That's when things flipped ugly, because Soulja didn't just take it personal. He treated it like open war. What most people miss is why his reaction was so explosive. When you're carrying as many skeletons as Big Draco, even the smallest jab feels like somebody's about to snatch the whole curtain down. So instead of ignoring it, he sprinted to X like his career was on fire and dropped one of the wildest clapbacks in recent memory. He ranted, cursed, swore on his life, even dragged in the strangest raceplay claims, all in a desperate attempt to prove he wasn't what people were whispering. He threw down every oath possible. God, strike me down, I swear on my soul, on my heartbeat. But the more he yelled, the shakier it sounded. Instead of cooling the flames, his meltdown poured gasoline on the rumors. If you didn't believe him after that, he made it clear he didn't care. But the bigger picture, that outburst was Soulja's shot. And Marlon, he's no rookie at this game. The man's been roasting people longer than Soulja's been relevant. So when he fired back, he didn't just toss light jokes. He went straight for Soulja's so-called street image. And that's when the cracks really started to show. Behind the curtain, the whispers about Soulja's double life have been around for years. The real person versus a character he sells to the world. Industry insiders have side-eyed everything, from his shady money moves to his personal chaos, hinting that the Soulja Boy brand is more costume than reality. And Marlon, he didn't just echo those whispers. He blasted them through a megaphone, throwing gasoline on the fire for everyone to hear. He even accused Soulja of being strung out, saying he could smell it on his breath. The first serious crack in Soulja's armor came when William Deba stormed onto Tasha K's podcast and turned it into pure scandal fuel. And this wasn't some vague shade. William came with receipts. He painted Soulja's life with such vivid detail it was like he'd been living in the man's condo rent-free. He described the exact floor plan, pointed to the bottles stacked in Soulja's liquor cabinet, and even exposed tattoos that the public had never seen before.
What were your thoughts when 50 Cent blamed the second season ratings dip on gay stuff?
First of all, the pot calling the kettle black.
That level of detail doesn't come from Google. It comes from being there or knowing someone who was. But here's the kicker. This wasn't just some brand new rumor that popped out of nowhere. Years earlier, Vivica Fox had already cracked the door open. While talking about that infamous XXL cover with Soulja Boy and 50 Cent, she was asked about 50 blaming bad ratings on gay stuff. And Vivica, she didn't flinch. She shot back with a response that was basically a smoke signal for anybody paying close attention. In Hollywood code, when someone sidesteps like that, it's never random. It's basically saying, I'm hinting at something way bigger than I can say out loud. And with Soulja, the dots connected quick. Vivica didn't just toss shade. She practically told the world, I know exactly what's really going on. And let's be real, Vivica's no amateur. She's been in this industry long enough to peek behind every velvet curtain and catch the truth for what it is. So when you stack her history of dropping subtle hints with Soulja's explosive meltdown over Marlon's harmless jab, snapping from calm to full-on hostile in seconds, it reeks of projection. That's the oldest trick in the book. Attack somebody else for the very thing you're desperate to keep hidden about yourself. And just like that, this beef didn't just heat up, it detonated. Because out of nowhere, Marlon came swinging with a country diss track. Yeah, you heard that right. A country diss track. The second it hit the internet, the energy shifted from this is messy to, oh, this is done.
2 songs, and I only remember one of them. Watch me, you. And beef with me. Get out of here. Put you in one of the movies. I need a crackhead for the new scary. I need a crack and a meth head all mixed together. You're perfect. I need someone that looks like a wet Muppet. That's what I am. I need crack and meth together. I need creth together. I want someone to look like they'll sell your car, rob you, and suck all at the same time. Soulja Boy.
In the track, Marlon didn't tiptoe around it. He flat out rapped that Soulja Boy's on crack and meth, saying, I can smell it on his breath. Yes, it's on that Chris. It's crack. The internet went nuclear off that one clip. Within hours, it was in every group chat. DJs were sliding it into their club sets just to watch the chaos, and even radio stations gave it spins. Marlon didn't just clown Soulja. He incinerated his whole public image in one strike. Overnight, Marlon flipped from comedian clapping back to a full-blown viral weapon. And those bars, they weren't just jokes. They carved straight through Soulja's tough guy mask, leaving smoke in their place. And just when people thought, okay, that's the craziest it gets, TMZ came through with gasoline. Cameras caught Marlon leaving a spot in L.A., and instead of softening up for Hollywood politeness, he doubled down. Right there, flashing lights in his face, Marlon went full savage, dropping the kill shot. I put you in one of the movies. A reminder that Marlon got receipts too, and a platform Soulja could never touch. But then Soulja made his biggest blunder yet. Instead of keeping it between him and Marlon,
my partner say, man, who the f in this crib? A-Rap passed me the... Bam, I look through the door. I see like 3, 4 running through the crib. All black, mask on, running through the crib. One run to the front door. I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot the... Bow, shot his ass. Bow, 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 bow. All the niggas run out the door, they run out the door. This nigga on.
He dragged Marlon's transgender son, Kai, into it. Soulja spat out a low blow. That runs in the family. Huh? No wonder you like dressing up. It's in your blood. And just like that, the whole thing crossed the line. This wasn't celebrity shade anymore. It got ugly, personal, the type of move that makes even your own fan flip on you instantly. Because in Hollywood and the rap game, everybody's got dirt. They just wait for the perfect excuse to unleash it. By going after Kai, Soulja rolled out the red carpet for Marlon to go nuclear. And when he did, those skeletons didn't just peek out. They came stomping, dancing out of Soulja's closet for the whole internet to see. One of the biggest cracks in Soulja's image has always been that gap between the tough guy act and what really goes down when pressure hits. And nothing exposes it more than the infamous wild night at his mansion. The night that spiraled from champagne and celebration into gunfire, chaos, and a legal mess that still haunts him today. Here's how it went. Soulja swears it was masked intruders storming his home, forcing him to spring into action like a real-life action hero. That's the clean Hollywood script. But insiders and people who were actually there, they tell a way messier version. The whispers say this wasn't random at all. The shooting, the chaos, it all traces back to one name, Droop. And from there, the story splits into two completely different realities. In Soulja's version, he's a hero. Masked men break in. He grabs the gun, defends his house, and walks away looking like an action star. But in Droop's version, everything flips. He says there were no strangers, no burglars. He and his crew weren't outsiders at all. They were Soulja's own label. They didn't come to rob him. They came to confront him. Why? Because earlier that same night, at Soulja's own album release party, they claimed they heard one of their tracks blasting, but with Soulja's verse slapped on top. No credit, no clearance, no payment. Nothing. According to Droop, that night was the boiling point. And the receipts make it even uglier. Droop says when they first signed, Soulja promised the world, production credits, features, a slice of the streaming bag. On top of that, they were choreographing his shows, building content, even shaping the Soulja Boy stage persona itself. But after months of grinding, they got zero. No money, no credit, no recognition. So when they pulled up that night, it wasn't a robbery. It was payback. And the gunfire, the chaos, the legal nightmare that followed, it wasn't about masked intruders. It was about broken trust, shady deals, and a crew that felt played from day one. According to Droop, that night spiraled from tense word to full-blown chaos in seconds. He says he pressed Soulja face-to-face about the stolen track, demanded answers, and when the excuses started flying, he lost it. Droop even claims he slapped Soulja twice inside his own mansion. That's when, according to him, Soulja grabbed a gun and fired. But instead of dropping right there, Droop says he stumbled outside, made it to a waiting car, and was rushed to the hospital. When he finally woke up, it wasn't relief waiting. It was cold steel. Handcuffs on his wrist. Because while Droop was fighting for his life, Soulja had already called the cops and locked in his own version of events. In Soulja's story, Droop wasn't a label mate. He was an armed intruder. That one move flipped the whole script, leaving Droop hit with an attempted robbery charge and staring down a 25-year stretch. And here's the shadiest part, the inconsistencies. In his first police statement, Soulja swore 5 masked men stormed his home. Later, that number mysteriously dropped to 3. Same with the weapons. First it was heavy artillery, then suddenly just handguns. The story seemed to evolve to fit the moment, not the facts. That's when Droop called in a legal heavyweight, Brian Steele, the same powerhouse attorney riding with Young Thug, and Steele wasted no time. He shredded the case piece by piece, exposing how weak the evidence really was until the prosecution's story collapsed. Before long, Droop walked out with just a 1-year sentence, 9 months of which he had already served. But the real twist? Soulja's former right-hand man, AAB, stepped in and actually backed Droop's version. Even though he and Soulja hadn't been close for years, his voice reportedly shook when he described that night, hinting whatever went down left real scars. And here's the kicker. Droop's story isn't just some one-off. Multiple artists who've worked with Soulja tell the same story. They say he lures people in with big promises, production credits, features, money on the table. But after they put in the grind, they get nothing. No payment, no credit, no recognition. Meanwhile, the work they poured in beats, hooks, choreography suddenly pops up under Soulja's name, while the real creators get ghosted. When you connect the dots, you see the same shady pattern over and over again. Remember when he bragged about being the first rapper with a gaming console? Sounded groundbreaking, until fans discovered it was nothing but a cheap Chinese emulator with a new logo slapped on, sold at a ridiculous markup. Or when he flexed about owning a massive multi-million-dollar mansion, only for receipts to show it was just an Airbnb rental. Or that bizarre Trump inauguration weekend where he jumped into the crypto hustle, basically admitting he only answers to whoever flashes the biggest check. No loyalty, no long-term vision, just quick grabs and flashy flexes. So when Marlon roasted him, it landed like a knockout punch. He wasn't just cracking jokes. He was spotlighting the entire blueprint, the contradictions, the gimmicks, the obsession with being first instead of building something real. A career stitched together from slogans instead of substance. And that's exactly why Soulja spiraled. He wiped his whole tweet history as soon as it was clear he was losing. Then he dropped a weak apology. I apologize for crashing out. I just be trying to defend myself, but sometimes I take it too far. Back to the music and TV shows. Love y'all. But by then, the damage was locked in stone. What makes this beef so explosive is how perfectly it shows the entertainment game's unspoken code. Some things stay off limits: family, identity, personal struggles, until somebody crosses that line. And when Soulja dragged Marlon's transgender son, Kai, into it, he didn't just cross the line, he bulldozed it. The difference is Marlon has always been open and proud about his journey with Kai. Just this past June, he posted Pride Month photos with a caption that had people calling him Father of the Year. As a father of a child in the LGBTQ+ community, I show my support. Zero cost. Don't care what people think. If I lost you, good. And that's why the LGBTQ+ community rallied behind Marlon instantly. They saw a father standing up for his child against someone weaponizing identity for a cheap jab. In Hollywood, that kind of solidarity can flip a PR nightmare into a career-defining win. Within hours, Protect Kai was trending, and you could literally watch Soulja's brand deals vanish. The same companies he bragged about working with went ghost. No reposts, no shout-outs, no merch drops. The message was loud: we're good on you, Soulja. Meanwhile, Marlon didn't just play defense. His first public response was a kill shot. If Soulja Boy had a career, he could get canceled for this type of slander. Luckily, he ain't been relevant since 2007. That alone had the internet crying with laughter. But he didn't stop there. He twisted the knife with another post. My child had top surgery and still has more chest than you. He sealed it with a flex emoji, 2 million likes in hours. That was the moment it became undeniable. Marlon wasn't just clowning. He was connecting. Not just as a comedian, but as a father standing tall. And the craziest part? Watching Hollywood's silent crowd suddenly find their voice. People who hadn't said a word in years started liking shady posts, dropping cryptic emojis, and quietly picking sides. The feud officially outgrew Marlon versus Soulja. It had become a Hollywood loyalty test. And for Soulja, the results were brutal. Marlon's resume speaks volumes. From In Living Color to White Chicks to sold-out stand-up tours, he's an empire in his own right. Soulja, still trying to stretch crank that like it's 2007, padding his rep with half-baked hustles that collapse the second you look too close. The split couldn't be clearer. A-listers lined up behind Marlon. Meanwhile, Soulja's corner looked emptier than a concert with no tickets sold. Even his former collaborators caught sudden industry amnesia. No reposts, no defense, not even a pity like. And in Hollywood, silence screams louder than any diss track. The fallout was instant. 3 major sponsors cut ties before the week was out. Streaming numbers nosedived. Every flex Soulja once bragged about turned into proof of how fast a game can flip. Meanwhile, Marlon's star was rising higher than ever. The exact same week Soulja's brand crumbled, Marlon was inducted into the NAACP Image Awards Hall of Fame. The beef had turned into something bigger. Comedy versus rap was just a surface. This was about respect, protection, and who the industry leaves scrambling when the mask slips. Marlon isn't just walking away with bragging rights. He's reportedly in talks of major studio projects centered on LGBTQ+ stories. His social media is on fire. Every move feels like another W. Soulja might have pioneered internet rap back in the MySpace days, but in 2025 he just got out-strategized and out-cooked by a comedy legend who knows exactly how to play the modern media game. Marlon didn't just clap back, he orchestrated. Shot posts, viral photos, and then that now legendary country diss track. It was a masterclass in winning without breaking a sweat. Every shot dragged more people to Marlon's side, and every response cut deeper into Soulja's weakest spot, his image. And here's the lesson. When your persona is built on smoke and mirrors, you don't come for a legend's kid, especially not one with decades of receipts sitting on deck. The scoreboard is undeniable. Marlon stacking WS, an NAACP Hall of Fame induction, new studio deals, and a louder platform than ever. Soulja, left standing in the rubble, closets wide open, skeletons two-stepping across the internet in broad daylight. And the whispers say, this isn't over. More skeletons are waiting, rattling for their cue. If this was just round 1, round 2 could make it look like child's play. So before you dip, hit that subscribe, drop a like, share this video, and tell me in the comments, is Soulja's career officially cooked?